Okay, we're on the air. So for the past weeks, I don't know how many now, we've been talking about happiness, how to increase happiness. And, for some people, it's just not a problem. You see them from time to time. They're just seem to be just going through life happy, carefree. And it actually is true. That's what the doctors who studied this have found out is that there are those of us who have a natural tendency towards happiness. And what we found was that 40% of our capacity for happiness is genetic. And then we have life events. And life events, which we think so powerfully impact us. These things that happen from day to day, the things that we fear may happen, the things that we anticipate saying, well, if that did happen, then I would be happy. All these life events, we actually believe that they have a lot more impact on us than they really do. Turns out about 20%. About 20% of our capacity for happiness has to do with life events. And the reason for that is, when something good happens, it feels really good in the moment and for some period of time, but there's this thing called hedonic adaptation, which means we just get used to it. So something good happens and we get used to it. We move into that house that we've dreamed about for years, and then we just get used to living there. And then if something happens that's bad, which we may have feared, we may not have feared, may come out of the blue, it's a total surprise. Something happens that's bad, we feel really bad for a minute. We feel bad for a little while. But then it fades. And if it's an ongoing situation, we get used to it. We just get used to it. And the studies showed that people who have sudden physical disabilities that come upon them, regardless of what they thought they would do or feel if those disabilities came upon them, they get used to them. And they end up gravitating back to the same level of happiness, approximately, as they had before. So then we got the other 40%. The other 40% depends upon what we do. Of course, this is a review, by the way, and if you didn't hear it before, that's great, because you get to hear it the first time. If you heard it before, you must have needed to hear it again. So 40% depends upon what we do and the habits that we create. And that 40% actually impacts the rest of it. Because if we use that 40%, which is our choice and our ability to do what it is that we do in life, to focus on the negative things that occurred to us, we can actually extend the effect of those negative things. And we may have experienced this in our own lives, we may have seen other people do it. We know that for those of us who dwell on the negative, things pretty much stay negative. This is Abraham Lincoln. He said, people are just about as happy as they have a mind to be. I think it's very interesting, as they have a mind to be. And of course, then there was a common idiom to refer to your decision making like that. But even if you think about how we talk about mind today, it really resonates. Just about as happy as we have a mind to be. So the point is we can change our mind, and we went through a number of things over the past weeks about what it is that we can do and habits that we can put into our lives, and of course there's these 12 things, and it was recommended that as we start this activity that we only take like 2 or 3 of them and really put some focus on those 2 or 3 things, and then see how that works, and not try to be. That's one of the ways not to be happy, is to try to be perfectly happy. Because we're always going to be falling short of our expectations. It's always going to be a problem. But today I want to talk about these basic things that really pretty much get neglected, and they impact all of the other habits, all of the other pursuits. And this is physical, mental, spiritual. This is the way we're going to approach it. Physical, mental, spiritual. There are things that we can do on a daily basis, just very basic things that we can do on a daily basis that will prepare us to actually do the other things. And so, physical. Now, a lot of these things that I'm going to talk about, we had a sense of it forever. We knew really that these things made sense. But now that these doctors have done the studies, it turns out that there is empirical data that supports what we may have previously just known intuitively. So the physical thing. So I'll just start with that, just because it's kind of something that I've talked about for years. But exercise. Exercising the body, getting out, moving our bodies through the air. Now it turns out that if you just go out and walk every day at a brisk pace, if you just go out and walk every day, you will actually raise your level of happiness. That if surveyed by these with this whole group of questions that they ask people, you will come up higher on the chart, because obviously nobody can just like look into you and see if you're, the way they figure out if you're happy is they ask you a bunch of questions from different angles and then they formulate it and they find out, right? But so physically they find out the people who just go out and walk, just go out and move around are happier than those that don't. And interestingly, it turns out that the more vigorous your exercise becomes, the happier you get to a point. Now, and this is where I'm always stretching it, right? You will get to a point where the exercise will actually start working in the other direction because you're pushing yourself too hard. You're not giving yourself time to recover. There's all kinds of other factors in here, and you become drained rather than, feeling better. You're not feeling so hot. But so this physical exercise, so they wanted to really see how effective this physical exercise was. So they did a study with people who were depressed, people that had been diagnosed with depression. And it turned out that with just moderate exercise, that they had the exact same level of improvement in people, just with moderate exercise, as they had when they finally found the right medication for them. Now this is interesting because the exercise worked to the same degree as the best outcome of the medication. And some people have to do like 4 or 5 different things before they finally get to the one that works. But the exercise worked for almost everyone in the study, and to the same degree of efficacy, moderate exercise. So there were a couple of people who criticized the thing, and they said, well, yeah, but one of the problems is if you're not there with these people, they won't exercise, and then the effects go away. And this is really the philosophy behind just give them a pill. I can send them home with the doctors are like, I can send them home with pills. I can't send them home with a trainer. I can't send them home with somebody who's going to get them up and move. And of course, the catch-22 of the whole thing is, when you're depressed, when you're in the midst of it, it's hard to get up. It's actually hard to get up and move. And so what they found was that if you could make yourself get up just for a little bit and do something quick and intense, it would raise the mood immediately. If you could just get it started. So all these things are like habits, right? And then it even got better because it turned out that as people increased the level of exercise, the more effective it was combating the depression. So, but here's a couple things that turned out really work. Like if you're feeling just a little bit down, and you've got, in there on the table in there in the living room, there's a pair of 20-pound dumbbells. I used to use 35-pound ones, but I can't do it anymore. But the 20-pound dumbbells, just if I start to feel sluggish at all, I just get up and I'll do something. I won't, I could, and I'll mix it up day to day. But just doing that for a few minutes raises the mood. And once the mood is raised, see, and this is the key to it. once the mood is raised, it's time to go do something important. It's time to do, to act on it, to keep it going. And then the other pieces of this is it's really, it turns out that there's a large percentage of people who find exercise painful. I mean, of course, when you're really working hard, it's painful for anybody. I mean, when you're really working hard. But there are people who just find it to be it's very unpleasant. It's very unpleasant. But it turns out that even for them, there's a break if they can just stick for a while. There's a breakthrough point where then it's not so much of a burden anymore, but actually something that becomes anticipated. So the key, what they found was you need to find something you like to do. So in other words, they said just go into the gym, and unless you really like this, unless you really enjoy it, that's not going to be the key for you. First of all, because you're not going to be able to sustain it. So you have to find something that you like to do, something that's enjoyable. And then you keep doing that. Now, once you start doing that, you may find, and this is what my racquetball coach said, you don't play racquetball to get in shape. You get in shape to play racquetball. So the idea here is after you find something you like to do, then you may want to add some of those other things that you found much more tedious before. But now you've got a reason, you've got a goal, because it'll make you better at the thing that you like to do. And of course all of this, and I'm probably not revealing any secrets here, but all of this, of course, can become obsessive. I wouldn't know anything about it, but I've heard tell. It can become obsessive. And then what ends up happening, of course, is that it starts affecting other areas of your life, which could take away from your happiness. So somewhere along the line, all this physical stuff, it's got to come into some kind of balance. That'll be another talk. I haven't figured it out yet, so I'm still writing on that one. So this physical thing, get up and move, right? Get up and move. And then also, you know what? There's also something else that's really important on this physical side. You don't have to do anything. So me sitting up here and talking to you about it'd be really nice, and I'm saying, do some exercise, find something you like. You don't have to do any of that. You do not have to do anything. In other words, I'm saying it's not an assignment. It's not something that somebody's going to force you to do. It's not something to be even in the back of your mind was, I got to get up and run. I've got to get up and get on the bike. You do not have to do anything. This is really important. You choose. You choose whether you're going to do it or not. And it's so important to understand that I'm making choices, even when I'm telling myself that I have to do it. I'm still just choosing to do it. But by me telling myself I have to, I'm stealing my joy. I'm stealing those opportunities. I am going to miss opportunities for more joy because I am too much caught up in this idea that, I've got to go do this thing. So sometimes the physical answer to happiness is don't do anything, though. To just sit for a moment. You can just stop. Hold on. Just stop. Wait for guidance. And then when guidance comes, then go do it. So the next piece of this is the mental piece. And I've been an advocate of this, and I shouldn't even say, it's silly to even say you're an advocate for it because you can't escape it. Lifelong learning is a necessity in our society today. It is imperative for us to continue to have a good quality of life that we continue to learn. I mean, there's all sorts of things. Every day somebody's introducing new technology. And although some of it I'd like to just throw out the window, a lot of it is helpful. Now again, this obsession thing can come in and actually drain away time and happiness by getting all hung up in technology. But lifelong learning, and I'm going to say something primitive here, just read a book. Okay? Just read a book. And if you want, it's fine. If you like reading novels, I don't care. You like reading romance novels, whatever it is that you like reading, that's fine. But what about Marcus Aurelius? What about get out a classic? What about they're on the shelf, they're on here, there's the complete works of Shakespeare. Take it off the shelf, read some of it. Just read some of it. Let your mind work with it. Read something. Get some knowledge. And now what's nice today is that we got all these audio books and everything like that, and it's interesting because we know for sure that people, and everybody kind of does it differently, they have a different mix, but some people can just read a book and learn. They can just read a book and learn and it like sticks. Other people, it works better for them when they hear it. So these audio books are like really, really helpful to a lot of people. What I like is I like to read it and I like to hear it. Some people want to read it and hear it and see it. So but all of this is available to us today. But the idea is every day, to think about every day, I want to learn. I want to have, and what's important for this idea about learning is that we have an open mind. That we're open to new ideas. That we keep ourselves in a state of readiness. That to not close ourselves. Sometimes, as we see the pace of life, and we see how quickly everything is moving and changing, I'm not trying to scare you, but it's just going to get faster. It's just going to get faster. The changes, the speed that the world is changing just is increasing. But to not be worried about it. Sometimes that getting caught up and we can become overwhelmed and think that, actually think we can't. There's no way that we can catch up. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Learn something today. Open the mind. Don't allow fear to close the mind down. Mental, changing thoughts. So we read, we keep an open mind, we read, we listen to audiobooks, we watch presentations, and I'm just going to suggest there's only so much time in the day. Some of you may have unlimited time, but really, most of us are really pretty busy. So there's only so much time, so we got to choose what it is. We have to choose what it is that we're going to invest our time in. And now this is just me, but I'm saying Fox News is not the place to invest your time. CNN is not the place to invest your time. Really, what those kind of things do, and of course we should know that they are definitely based on entertaining their particular audience group. And when I say entertaining, I don't mean that you're necessarily going to be happy. I mean, they entertain you through you getting mad, actually. So we need to make some other choices. There's plenty of good things to look at. There's plenty of things to look at that actually will increase our happiness and open us, to new experiences. But we're the ones that are in charge of this. It's us. We are the ones who make the decision. We are not forced to sit there and watch this continuous stream of conflict. We can say, no, that's enough of that. That's enough. I want to go look at something else. Change our thoughts. As we become more and more aware of ourselves, we find that we actually have the ability to change our thoughts. So this is a prerequisite for this increased level of happiness, is to be able to say to ourselves when we find ourselves caught up in some series of negative thoughts, some bunch of anger that's going on in us, or resentment, or any kind of fear-based stuff, is just to say, wait, let's stop right now. Let's just stop. And here's kind of where the abstinence part comes in, where we say, okay, that's it. I don't want that thought. I do not want that thought. So I'm going to change that thought for another thought. I'm going to exchange the thought. And this actually works. It sounds silly to some people. I can't tell you how many people have told me, I can't help what I think. That's just what I think. The thought comes, there it is. It's right there. And then, of course, that goes along with, that's just how I feel. Because the thought is connected to the feeling. And so if I can't help how I think, that is just how I feel. I'm overwhelmed. These random thoughts keep coming into my mind, and they make me feel bad. They make me feel upset. They make me feel afraid. They make me feel under threat. But we do have the ability to control our thoughts. and I've suggested this many times, but I'll just tell you again. I used to carry around a sheet of paper that had a whole list of affirmations on them. People thought I was goofy, but I was goofy, but I was happy goofy, right? Because whenever I start thinking the thought that I don't want to think, I take out the piece of paper and I look and I think, okay, what appropriate exchange would be? So I'm looking. So I just these simple ideas like this morning, this meditation. To have an affirmation that says, "I am well lit." Wait a minute. That didn't mean you were high, right? I am well lit. I mean, I am filled. Look, I am filled with the light of God. If God be with me, who can be against me? You know, by the way, where that came from, that wasn't some kind of conflict thing. That wasn't like saying, "Oh, if I'm at war at somebody and God's with me, who can stand against me?" It was really talking about what was going on the inside. That if I am thinking, feeling, being with God, nobody stands against me. And of course, this is where the Course is saying is, and anybody you see standing against you is just an illusion anyway. So, right? So to have a thing where we change, well, I am a beloved son of a rich father. As a child of God, I do not inherit sickness. So I'm feeling bad. I'm kind of feeling bad today. I got a little virus going on. Not really. I'm just saying it could be. And then I would say to myself, I'm a child of God, and as such, I do not inherit sickness. I go, that's silly. This is a virus. You can look at it under the microscope. You got this virus. There it is. But it changes something. It changes something. When I say something